Yo, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com, and we really need some new mic clips. I feel like a fucking tool. But all that aside, what better way to cheer me up and to cheer you up as well? It's Wednesday, the weekends are coming, than to look at all the ups and all the downs from this week's Smackdown Live. Let's go. The show opened as every Smackdown for the past month seems to have opened, at least in my memory, with Randy Orton coming out of the ring and cutting a promo on Bray Wyatt, and it was more of the same old. Then Bray appeared on the Titantron in a reclined, slightly saucy position, as though he was FaceTiming Randy, and then nothing really. Again, it was much of a muchness. It was the same as we've seen for the past few weeks, and unfortunately, that means we start things off with a down. Then we got into our first match of the night, which was Randy Orton versus Luke Harper, and midway through the bout, Bray Wyatt made the most lackadaisical run-in I can remember for a long time. He came out with all the Druids. I think it was the Druids. Is he still in control of The Undertaker's Druids after that WrestleMania match? More than a year ago now. Anyway, they came out bearing a casket with Bray Wyatt, again, very saucily reclining inside, kind of like Hedonism Bot from Futurama. He then tried to interfere in the match, and Randy was doing all right, and then basically Bray just got fully involved. The ref called for the bell. In all the scuffle, the casket lid somehow got shut on the outside, and when it opened again, Kane was in there. And to be very honest with you, I popped for that. It wasn't the best match at all, but it at least brings up the possibility of a casket match. So for that, and because it feels like we haven't seen one for ages, although I did a bit of research and the last one was in January 2015 between Kane and Daniel Bryan, but it feels like we haven't had one for ages. I'm going to give it an up. Although this does raise the question, will WWE do the match on a bog standard edition of SmackDown because there's no SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view until Survivor Series, or will they drag out the casket-themed feud until then? You'd think they'd rush it and do it on SmackDown because obviously Halloween, but well, we'll see what happens. Next, finally, Alexa Bliss looks strong. Alexa Bliss beats Naomi pretty much clean as a whistle, but with lots of nice heel antics in the match as well. I'm never going to forgive Kenny McIntosh for saying that Carmella is a better heel than Alexa. Alexa is far superior, in my opinion, and deservedly looks strong here. Up. So now I'm going to do the rest of this video trying not to move the mic because, as you can see, it's not really. So then we had our second down of the night, which was unfortunate because it involved Curt Hawkins and his debut, although he didn't really take part in his... So now, with my new cool microphone accessory, we get to our second down of the night, which involved Curt Hawkins, unfortunately, because his gimmick is pretty shoddy at the moment. It's kind of a weird cross between Matt Hardy with all those Chuck Norris-esque facts and Eva Marie with the announcer waxing lyrical about how great Curt Hawkins is. And of course, it's a way to get heat, but it generates, as it's known in the business, X-Pac heat rather than legitimate good heel heat. Hawkins didn't even make his long-awaited debut, another Eva Marie style gimmick, even though that was only a few months ago where she's sort of dodging out of various matches, and so is he. He left his scheduled match with Apollo Crews before it started because Apollo had the audacity to punch him in the face. Now we get to Carmella doing her best CM Punk impression. She told Nikki Bella that all she'd achieved in WWE was done because she's going out with John Cena, and that she's fearless because she's going home every night with Mr. Hustle, loyalty and respect. The implication, of course, being that Nikki's had everything in her life handed to her on a plate by virtue of her boyfriend. This was a great promo. To be fair to Carmella, it's the most compelling thing she's done since becoming a heel, and it was a great decision, whoever's decision it was, to give her the opportunity to do this promo. Nikki's comebacks were okay, but you kind of naturally find yourself siding with Carmella, just as CM Punk was supposed to be the heel in his feud with John Cena, who was supposed to be the babyface. I'm kind of on Carmella's side here, even though Nikki has improved a lot in the ring over the years and she's worked really hard, but it's hard to root for Superman when he wins all the time, and equally it's hard to root for his girlfriend. This is an up. Now we get to what I think was probably the best match of the night, and therefore an up. That's The Miz and the Spirit Squad, Kenny and Mikey, versus Dolph Ziggler and the tag team champions, Heath Slater and Rhino. This was just a really fun match with bodies flying everywhere. There were lots of nice fun moments. There was Heath Slater getting the hot tag for once instead of Rhino, and he ran wild with weird front kicks. He looked a bit like I was about to say a mongoose, but does he call himself a mongoose? He didn't look like a mongoose, he looked a bit like an ostrich with his weird front kicks. We had Rhino goring the out of Mikey. That was a fantastic gore. It looked very sore as well. He almost landed on his neck. He flipped so far backwards. And finally, Kenny Dykstra getting a pin in 2016 on WWE television. what a time to be alive. Great match, really fun, keeps the feuds going, no complaints here. Now we get to Baron Corbin v Jack Swagger again, but SmackDown really took me by surprise with this match because Corbin effectively squashed Jack Swagger, which I guess is the right thing to do, but I can't award this one an up or a down yet because I'm not certain whether the feud's going to continue or not. So I'll make this a neither, a sort of middle, not an up or a down. But man, it was boring, but if it ends the feud, it's an up. If the feud continues, it's a down. Let's just leave it the same for now. And finally, we get to the main event of the evening, the WWE World Championship match between James Ellsworth and the champion AJ Styles. I'm going to give this both an up and a down because there were various aspects of this match that shouldn't have been in the main event of SmackDown, particularly because SmackDown's got this sort of unwritten status as the more wrestling-orientated show of the two, of SmackDown and Raw. And yeah, it wasn't a great match. It was a little too gimmicky. It was the sort of thing you'd expect to see in a different era, probably. So that justifies the down. But I have to give it an up as well because there were so many little fun moments, particularly that super kick from Ellsworth and the fact that just for a second, everyone in that arena thought that he might be the new WWE champion and forgot about the consequences of it and forgot how terrible that would be in the long run and just lost their minds and then lost their minds further for the kick out. So an up and a down for the main event. There were good and bad aspects. I don't wholly agree with it, but they do have a lot of time to kill until Survivor Series, and you can tell this is just basically masquerading as a feud between Ellsworth and Styles, when in reality it's obviously the feud between Styles and Ambrose, who I suspect will have that match at Survivor Series. So that's all for this week on SmackDown Ups and Downs. Thank you very much for watching the video. The ups have won, but it's a slightly misleading one because it was a little bit of a weaker SmackDown than we're usually used to. But shouts out to all the guys in the six-man tag team match. Shouts out to Carmella for her excellent promo on Nikki Bella. And finally, shouts out to my boy James Ellsworth. He might be the wrong man for the job, but can you blame him for taking it? Certainly not. I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. Once again, thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at Jack_the Jobber, and I'll see you soon.